So Mayor, I've just been communicated from IT that we are able to stream the meeting live over our public access channel. However, we're having technical issues with our YouTube stream. So my recommendation is if you give the green light, IT will stream the meeting live on our public access channel. We can begin closed session. And while we're in closed session, IT is working to make the YouTube feed live.
Okay, I would like to get the meeting started.
So moved. Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, will you take a roll call vote on that we start?
Yes, Councilmember Duncan,
Aye.
Councilmember Ferguson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
Aye.
Mayor Ward,
Aye.
and Councilmember Duncan is absent.
No block.
No block. That was my
Thank
next
you.
guess. Okay,
So I'm going to call this meeting of May 4th, 2021 to order. It's a special meeting of the City of San Clemente City Council.
yes. Councilmember Duncan,
Here.
Councilmember Ferguson,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem James,
Here.
Mayor Ward,
Here.
and Councilmember Noblock is absent.
All right. Madam Clerk, do we have any comments for closed session?
Yes, we do. Amanda Kitnia.
All right.
Hello, my name is Amanda Quintanilla, and I'm concerned regarding the appointment of Eric Sund as the city manager. The major concern that I have is that there is a conflict of interest regarding Mr. Sund's appointment in his position as a city manager. Many residents on social media are concerned that the city council voted to offer Mr. Sund the job. That involves a 3-year contract with a base salary of about $250,000. According to the draft agreement, the city council has already extended the offer of employment to Mr. Sund. Consequently, Mr. Sund accepted those terms for that position. However, approval of an employment agreement or finalizing of that agreement requires public action. The problem that I see is that this matter should have been raised with the California Fair Political Practices Commission, the FPPC, as a formal advice letter by either Eric Sund and or the city attorney, Mr. Scott Smith. Conflicts of interest do happen, and according to the FPPC, the mere appearance of impropriety is sufficient to warrant a conflict of interest. Unfortunately, the interim city manager and the city attorney did not do their due diligence and reach out to the FPPC to determine the conflict of interest in offering him this position. If he has used his official position to influence a government decision in which the official has a financial conflict of interest, he would not be eligible for this position. The FPPC confirmed today that there was no advice letter submitted by either Eric Sund or the city attorney. According to the FPPC webpage, section 8248 defines a public official as every member, official, employee, or consultant of a state or local agency, which would include Eric Sund, the interim city manager. Under general contract law, an enforceable contract is made when there has been an offer, an acceptance, and consideration. An employment of a city manager involves a contract, which Mr. Sund has accepted. This opens up Mr. Sund and the city to potential lawsuits from its residents, potential FPPC complaints, and or complaints to the district attorney, whichever is appropriate. As council members, you were involved in these closed sessions for the interview and recruitment process. This would make you potential witnesses in any legal action. I certainly do not support Eric Sund in being the city manager for those reasons. There is no doubt that there is a conflict of interest. I urge you to vote no. Eric Sund should not be given that position as city manager. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. City Attorney, do you want to opine on that or wait until we come out of closed
No,
session?
I'm happy to do that right now. The FPPC has actually issued an opinion that's right on point. It was issued to Steve Eckes, ECKIS, that says that when someone's proffered terms of employment, and they're a public employee, they have the ability to negotiate on their own behalf vis-a-vis the agency. So there's FPPC advice clearly on point that controls the situation. Mr. Sund through this process, has separated himself from making any advice to the council in his official capacity to make sure he falls within the parameters of that opinion. There was another issue raised. So anyway, there is an opinion on the issue, and there's no conflict of interest. Oh, there is no offer and acceptance here under the California Government Code. It's not possible for there to be a binding contract outside of a public meeting off consent. And so, yes, the council's ad hoc has discussed terms with Mr. Sund. Those have been advanced to the agenda, but there is no offer and no acceptance in this context. And that's been clear to the council and clear to the candidate.
Okay.
I have a question, Mayor Ward of the City Attorney. City Attorney, but we did have participation by Mr. Sund in the process. Okay, he did participate in the process in terms of sitting on a panel interviewing candidates. I objected to that, but he did. So does that not disqualify him automatically by taking him out of the process and interviewing candidates that council selected to be interviewed?
Good counsel and Councilmember Ferguson. That process in which he participated played out and concluded before it was reopened, and he became involved as a candidate. So there was a clear segue in my mind between that recruitment and the contract before you.
What was reopened, Scott? We didn't reopen the advertisement for the position.
City
No.
Attorney, I have an issue talking about recruitment.
Mayor Ward, stop interrupting me. I'm going to tell you that at the beginning of the meeting. It's against policy, and I can read the policy, okay, if you want to hear it again, or if you need a refresher. But you say you have the most experience of all of us, but you don't seem to know the rules. So let me ask the attorney a question, and I'd like an answer because
Ferguson, we have a point of order. Can you just stop talking for a moment, please?
and then I want my question answered.
I was actually speaking and you interrupted me.
I did not.
In the city, I think the record will show that you did. So Scott, can you opine, because I am concerned, I do not want to get into talking about any of the recruitment in public. That was a closed session item. And I'm concerned about that being debated here when the full council knows everything that happened in closed session, because we were the participants in that closed session. And I don't believe we're waiving privilege on that.
Yeah, that the conversation and the segue did occur in closed session, and it did occur with me present. And so we need the council to waive privilege on that before I felt at liberty.
Well, good cover for you, Scott.
Okay, so council, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Oh, Mayor, if I could, there is some housekeeping.
Yes, go
Before
ahead.
we go, just two
Thank you.
quick announcements. There is a link under C regarding a threat of litigation by Cypress Shores. That link belongs under D. It just needs to be disclosed before you go into closed session, but it corresponds to D, not C.
Okay.
C involves initiation of litigation. One of the potential defendants is TCA with regard to its continued collection of development impact fees. So we need to tell that potential defendant that item C relates to them. So with that, all disclosures that are appropriate tonight have been made.
All right, so Madam Clerk, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem James and a second by Councilmember
Excuse
Noblock to
me,
go into closed session. Public comment is closed.
Councilmember Duncan on the second.
Councilmember
Did I
Duncan.
say Noblock? I
Yeah.
did. I'm so
I'm
sorry.
Steve for the night.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was looking at
Yeah, no problem.
the audience.
Councilmember Duncan.
Aye.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem James.
All right.
Mayor Ward.
Aye,
Carries 4-0.
thank you.